Welcome to Your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 672. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book but you need some help getting it done, or perhaps you're at the stage where you need help reaching more readers to let them know about your book, you are in the right place. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh. If you're looking for me online, look for Christine Inc., like that stuff we write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn a quote-unquote non-author, see the air quotes I'm doing in the air? A non-author into a published one. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. Build a discipline around a rhythm of output. Commit to output, no matter the outcome. This is the secret to your success. And that comes from one of my amazing clients, author, future, about to be author, Grant Muller. Great quote there about outcome and output related to today's episode. And today's episode is about the fact that sharing your words is an act of courage. This is why the act of doing so alternates between being exciting and maybe slightly terrifying sometimes. This is also why authors often struggle with doing it, first with their book, and then sharing the words of their content that attracts readers to their book. This is why many authors I've noticed, I don't think they're talking to their audience nearly enough, and I'm probably included in that. I don't think we're talking to our audiences nearly enough, and there are several reasons for that, and that I'm about to get into. And when I say talking to our audience, I mean engaging them in conversations that help them solve problems or otherwise, or add value or entertainment. So I don't mean talking to, but I mean talking with, engaging with, having a conversation with your audience. So why aren't we doing this enough as authors, especially through all that written content that we should be producing around our books to draw people to them? The first reason I've identified is, more air quotes, I don't know what to say. Well, first, you have a whole book, even if it's still in progress. You have an entire book to act as the foundation for the rest of your content strategy. Do you know how lucky we all are? Because there's so many marketers and businesses that, don't have books to use. We have, the average business book is about 50,000 words. You have a 50,000 word foundation. Again, even if your book is in progress, you have a multi-tens of thousands word foundation for content that many others don't have. So remember to use it. Second, the more you listen to your audience, which is your readers, both present and future, the more you will know what to say. It's all about finding the intersection of their problems and the one-of-a-kind stories and lessons you have figured out from living your one-of-a-kind life, and turning all of that into a normal, organic, human being-like conversation. Third, you do know what to say. You just don't think you do. But believe me, everyone around you who knows you would most likely disagree. They know that you have stuff to say because you've said it to them. It's just a matter of creating that bridge from talking the way you do in normal life to friends and people and colleagues in business to realizing that your readers are no different. They're human beings. Your quote unquote, your audience, your marketing and social media, all the fancy things that we say, these are the same human beings that you surround yourself with every day. They just happen to be reading your book or maybe wanting to read your book. They're not some alien creature. They're the same people that you're around every single day. You do know what to say. The second reason I've identified that authors don't share enough of their words, do people care what I have to say? And yes, they do, especially when you can find a way to make it about them, to link it to them. Storytelling is starting with you and then flipping the mirror around and inviting others into your stories so they can learn what you've learned and apply it to their own lives. Value-added story, what I call the New York Times called it, but I've kind of made it my life now. The self-help memoir is tacking a lesson onto the story. It's the cherry on top. This is especially important when your lesson can be the key to pulling someone else out of the darkness of problems that you have already tackled. So problems that you've already solved can be an absolute revelation and saving grace to others. Also consider that what might seem obvious or common sense to you, so maybe you solved your problem in a way where you were just like, oh my God, that was so obvious. That was just like the common sense solution to that life problem. That might not be so obvious or common sense to somebody else. So take that into consideration, that what you have to say might actually be very important. So write about it and find out. And finally, the last reason I found is very simple. I'm afraid. Authors saying, I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing, of having what I say fall on deaf ears, of saying too much. Obviously, I don't have that problem. This is where courage comes in. The courage to share your words, even if they are quote unquote wrong, or if nobody hears you, or if people who are not in your target audience are disturbed by the noise. Well, in your mind anyway, maybe you think people are disturbed because you're talking so much and the people who aren't your target audience are getting a little irritated. Well, here's my thought on that. It's only noise to people who aren't meant to hear it. And most likely, no, you're not saying too much, you're not posting too much, you're not sharing too much, especially given the selective nature of social media algorithms. I'd be willing to bet you're not saying enough. Content strategy conversations began really working for me when I essentially tripled my output and I detached myself from instant outcomes. And I prioritized consistency almost above everything else. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Just kept talking, kept writing, kept listening to my audience, kept doing all the things, trying to add value, trying to teach, but just making those actions consistent. That is when things really changed for me and my brand really started getting attention. And yeah, it does require a certain amount of ego muting to talk as much as I do to my audience, which probably pales in comparison to others who are making really, really massive global impacts on their audiences, but I'm working up to it. To put out 10 things, so imagine, 10 pieces of content, and be willing to watch 9 of them fall flat or worse, get a negative reaction. And then to learn from that, suck it up, go out and do it again, put out another 10 things. The thing that gets me through the mental rough spots and uncertainty when I'm doing this over and over and over again is my unwavering mission to inspire people like you to write and finish writing awesome books, no matter what it takes. So here's my question for you. What is your no matter what it takes behind your words, your stories, your messages, your book, your content? Having a strong mission and a clear purpose is a fantastic way of taking the edge off the fear that comes with putting yourself out there and sharing your words. So I hope I've addressed some of your sharing words objections today, and I really want to see all of your words out there. Feel free to tag me on social media, just as I always say at the top of every broadcast. If you look up Christine Inc. online, you'll most likely find me. Ink like we write with. Hope to see your words soon. And as always, thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And please drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook and let us know what you're working on and how we can support your writing goals through motivation, accountability, book writing, publishing resources, and more. Until tomorrow, happy writing.